3 sequential events that will reshape the world in 2024 and beyond. There are 3 universal events on the horizon that will trigger worldwide spiritual revolution and change planet Earth forever. According to the messages of Our Lady and the Bible, these cataclysmic events must take place in order to purify humanity from satanic infiltration and neo-paganism. There are many shocking signs we have that point to 2024 for the warning or illumination of conscience to occur. Apostasy advances in the world and the church, and the tribulation increases. Things seem to speed up. And the warning or illumination of conscience, where God will reveal himself personally to each human being on earth, show them their sins and call them to conversion, is the key piece already prophesied 5 centuries ago by Our Lady. Could the warning happen in 2024? Here we will talk about when Our Lady said the warning would happen, what are the necessary conditions for it to materialize, and how many of those conditions are present in the year 2024. Only God knows the day and hour, but Our Lady revealed clues that help us prepare. From a purely human point of view, we can conjecture that 2024 will be more tumultuous than 2023. Due to the growing conflict between the United States and China, the global economic recession, and the banking crisis. Because of the wars, especially in Ukraine and the Holy Land, with the possibility that the latter will spread. And because of the destruction of productive infrastructure that is taking place to supposedly stop climate change, and because of the decline in population. And from the supernatural point of view, we know, from hundreds of messages from heaven to mystics, that we are already in the tribulation, and that it escalated starting in October 2023. And that is the preamble to God's intervention to purify the world, which has gone far from him. And why now? Because we see that the speed with which sins and apostasy increase has increased, both inside and outside the church. And by 2 key indicators. One is that the challenge that the devil had made to Jesus Christ, that he could destroy the church, was ended, known from a vision that Leo XIII had on October 13, 1884. Jesus accepted the bet, and then the demon asked for 100 years of more power for himself and his minions, and the Lord granted it. There is a discussion about whether those 100 years began to run from 1884 or from 1917, with the appearance of Our Lady in Fatima. But the truth is that the agreement would have expired no later than 2017. And the other indicator is the withdrawal of the cataclysmic or restrainer. St. Paul in the letter to the Thessalonians mentions that there is something that stops the arrival of the Antichrist. The uprising of the cataclysmic would happen in the period that the Virgin called in Darabandal end of time. And that period would begin after the death of John the 23rd and when the next 3 pontificates passed, plus a very short one. Those pontificates are that of Paul VI, John Paul I, the short pontificate, John Paul II, and Benedict XVI. In other words, after the death of Benedict XVI, which occurred on December 31, 2022, the cataclysm was lifted. Many will ask the question why Benedict XVI was the cataclysm or restrainer. And we must recognize that he is one of the greatest and most extraordinary theologians of recent times. His testimony made many people still feel attracted to the Catholic Church, despite the apostasy that was spreading. And his clarity in upholding Catholic doctrine was a brake on things from falling apart, as happened after his death. Furthermore, Father Amorth said that the devil was afraid of Benedict XVI in exorcisms. So we are already waiting for the first 3 events for the remodeling of the world, which involves a spiritual revolution and taking power away from Satan and his allies. We can analytically distinguish 3 sequential events according to the messages of Our Lady and the Bible. First, the warning or enlightenment or correction of conscience. Second, a new outpouring of the Holy Spirit on all humanity. Third, The miracle. The warning or illumination of conscience has been predicted in Catholic prophecies for more than 5 centuries. The most notable first to prophesy it were Saint Edmund Campion in the 16th century, Blessed Anna Maria Taigi in the 18th century, and Saint Faustina Kowalska in the 19th century. And the modern formulation of the warning was expressed by Our Lady at Garabandal in the 1960s. She said that God will reveal himself to every person in the world to tell them that he exists, show them the sins they have committed, and call them to conversion. The warning will come at a time when the world will be at its worst, in the midst of a tribulation. It would be fulfilled at the time of an important synod in the Church. At the moment when Russia will suddenly and unexpectedly invade Europe and communism will spread throughout the world. At a time when many people lost faith in the authenticity of the apparitions in Garabandal. When the churches are closed and the faithful cannot receive the Eucharist. And when the Pope returns from a trip to Moscow. Maria Julia Jeheni says that it will not be at the end of the year, but in the first months of the year. And Our Lady of Peace told Pedro Regis of Anguera, Brazil, that it would be a Friday. And after 3 days of the warning, heaven will pour out the new Pentecost, according to Hosea 6 verse 1-6. We have clues about the date of the warning, because we know roughly when the miracle will occur. The miracle will occur within 12 months following the warning, and 2 visionaries will communicate it to the world days in advance, Conchita from Garabandal and Mirjana from Medjugorje. While the warning will come suddenly, the miracle will consist of a permanent sign that will remain in the pines of Garabandal until the end of the world. And it seems that in all the places of the true apparitions, it will be the greatest miracle that Jesus has done for the world. It can be filmed and televised, the sick who attend will heal, and the unbelievers will believe. Our Lady told Conchita that the miracle will occur on the feast of a saint, a martyr of the Eucharist. It will take place during March, April, or May of an even year. It will take place between the 8th and 16th of the month. On a Thursday, at 8:30 p.m. in Garabandal. The next martyr of the Eucharist that is celebrated under these conditions will be Saint Stanislaus, whose feast day will fall on Thursday, April 11th, 2024. Saint Stanislaus was a Polish bishop of the 11th century, martyred during the celebration of the Holy Eucharist. Bishop Stanislaus spoke out boldly against the perverted lifestyle of King Boleslaw II and excommunicated him. The king was outraged and ordered his soldiers to kill the bishop, but they refused, so Boleslaus entered the chapel and killed Saint Stanislaus with his sword while he was celebrating Mass. Be careful, we are not stating that the warning will be on Good Friday 2024, which falls on March 29th, and the miracle on Thursday, April 11th. Otherwise, we are only warning that these dates fulfill the prophecies, nothing more. The next feast of a saint of the Eucharist under the conditions given in Garabandal would be that of San Hermenegildo, on Thursday, April 13th, 2028. Well, that's it. What we wanted to talk about is that 2024 meets the conditions for the warning and the miracle to happen. And I would like to ask you if you think you are prepared for the eventuality of the warning or not.
Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, et spes nostra salve. Ad te clamamus, exules filii Eve, ad te suspiramus, gementes et flentes, in ac lacrimarum vale. Ea ergo advocata nostra, illos tu nuestros óculos, haznos converte. Et Jesum, benedictum fructu ventris tui, nobis post hoc exilium ostende. O clemens, O pia, O dulcis,